well worth the wait. I'm at the right place at the right time for the right opportunity. And in this industry, you look for good partners, and the opportunity to partner up with Glenn and Becky here in this market means the world to me. The process was done unbelievably impressive by Ethan and the leadership group. I really got a sense, and they spoke to it, but not only were they interviewing me, but I was interviewing them. And as I've talked to different organizations in this league, they stood out. The opportunity to sit down and talk to them and compare values, compare philosophies, compare things that were important to them and were important to me really matched up. So it was a process that was thorough, it was diligent, and when you go through something like that, you know it's where you're supposed to be. And I'm grateful for the opportunity and excited to work that lies ahead.
Well, I wanted to find partners, and you don't do this alone. I don't do this alone. On the basketball operations side, I wanted good people that had good values and were about the right things, and that's what I found with Glenn and Becky and Ethan and the rest of their leadership group. For me, it was to have the opportunity to do something special. I've learned a ton in Houston, unbelievable experiences, but at the same time, to come here and have the opportunity to build a program at that level. When an owner talks about world class and championship, it's meaningful and it's important. And when the resources are in place, this is a great market not only for the organization, the players, but for my family. And to be able to do all of those things here is something that really excites me.
You know, part of that is going to be how we develop our philosophy, but we're going to work off our best players. I think Karl Anthony Towns is a player that's unbelievably talented, and I'm excited for what the future lies ahead for him. But I also have the perspective of experience, and I understand that it takes time and patience. You know, I'm coming from a program where we had James Harden develop into an MVP candidate at 29 years of age. I was in Houston when Akeem Olajuwon was winning championships, but that was at 33 years of age. So we have to be understanding of not only Karl, Andrew, but other players on the roster in terms of their development. I do see significant upside with them in the style of play, in our player development, in our player wellness program. But at the same time, we're going to be very aggressive, you know, whether that's in development with the team and in also team building in terms of how we're going to address the needs for this roster moving forward to get the best players available. No, we're going to be very creative. I think you're going to see a different tone from this administration, and part of it is going to be we have to maximize every resource. Draft, free agency, trades, what we have on the roster in terms of player development. We have to be creative. Being in the West, competing at this high level, there's smart organizations all over the NBA. We have to set ourselves apart by creating the best talented roster we can put together, and that's going to be being able to be successful with minimum contracts, being able to be successful in the trade market, free agency-wise, being strategic with the space that we have. But one thing, I've said it earlier and I'll say it again, we got to question the norm. Things have to be done differently, and we're not going to be successful just because we're aggressive, but we're going to learn from every step of the way, and over time, making the simple decisions right, we're going to be able to make some of the big decisions down the stretch. First and foremost, it's a different age. I think we're dealing with a different generation of player. Leadership is critical. With this group of young men and young players, you've got to be able to bring a group together, you've got to be able to communicate, you've got to be able to connect, while at the same time being able to hold them accountable. But along those lines, you have to be a leader, and this level of operation has changed a ton. No longer is it a one-man operation. You have to put, the way I look at coaching is a whole staff. We have to do a great job of putting the best basketball coaching staff here, top to bottom, and even a little bit like a football model. You know, the head coach who runs the program, an offensive coordinator, a defensive coordinator, player development coordinator, game plans coordinator. That's going to be our vision. We feel like there's a lot of value in that, but we want to put people at high-end value in terms of talent to allow us to have success here so they can have success in the future. TYUS is a great representative for the Twin Cities, but also a very good player. I've been fortunate he went through the draft. We spent time with him in Houston through the draft. I think he's had a very effective career, and I'm excited to how this style of play is going to change and how that fits in. I think we're in a very interesting time, and the league changes. There's shifts to the cycles. Right now we're in an offensive era, and a lot of the things that he does in terms of playmaking and his ability to create pace are things that are valuable. But I'm excited about him, not only as a basketball player, but as an individual and what he means to this community. I think, to be fair to Andrew, it's a process. It doesn't happen overnight, and there's been different coaches, there's been different systems, there's been different platforms. The only thing that I can go off is the experiences that I have with Andrew. I've spoken with Andrew. He's very motivated about this. He's very excited about it. We're going to work in and day out, investing with him in every way possible to make him the best player. The reality is this: if I go out on the market to get a player, I'm not going to find a player that's got a bigger upside than Andrew. He's a very talented individual. He's got a ton of physical tools, and he's a great kid. We have to mature him into a great player, and that's our responsibility. We're going to do everything we can possible from a front office side, from a coaching side, from player development, player wellness, to help him be the best player he can be.